Hello everyone, Argsy here. Welcome back to Deer Creek. Now if you caught our live stream on the weekend, you would have seen us beavering away in the snow, ploughing some snow, clearing the road so we could head down to the sell point and get our sorghum sold. It's led us to having $150,000 in the bank account, which is mighty nice and much healthier than it was. We do still have a loan though. We've got 400k there that we haven't paid anything down on yet, so we are working towards getting that paid off. But just standing here, we've obviously skipped forward time a little bit from that winter season we were in. We are now well and truly into spring, and our barley is starting to look very, very good indeed. Now, I've added the growth stage mod that came out on Mod Hub recently. You can see down there in the field info box that we are at growth stage 5 of 6. That's a nice little mod, nice little quality of life thing there to make it very clear. You don't have to go into the map and try and decipher which colour stage of growth you're on. You can see it right there in the box, so I can recommend getting that one. But this crop is looking mighty fine and a little bit denser than an ordinary FS22 crop. Now I came across some density files that have bumped up the density of the crop so it looks a lot thicker, a lot heavier. I've taken a couple of screenshots. I'll try and put those on the screen now just to compare the in-game density file with the one that I've got, so you can try and pick out some of that change. But it does make a little bit of a difference. It's not huge, and I'm not seeing too much in the way of frame rate effects, but it's something I will keep an eye on. But it is nice to have that. It does look good. It doesn't change any yields or anything like that. It is just a visual effect across the crop, so something we'll keep an eye out as we progress through the series with some of the other crop types that have had the treatment done. They're not all they haven't all been given a density increase, just a few. Now, a few other changes that have happened on the farm. We got rid of the speed till, the Mark Kenzie speed till. Custom modding to celebrate the birthday of John Deere has released the 2680 speed till, and we've gone and got that here. We've replaced it like for like. So same size implement, everything there, not much different, except it's green, which goes with the rest of the farm, except for that red machine there next to us. But we are going to be able to try and use that today. Actually, I was thinking we're going to get into some planting with our corn, so we're going to be able to get the planter out over here. But I think we might go and run that speed till through the field number 4 and chop up all those weeds that we did have. Now, the other change, we just come over here, you'll see we don't have the fertilizer trailer in there that we bought during the live stream. We obviously got things set up. We brought the fertilizer liquid trailer there, and we've also got the seed tender. We just come over this way. Another new mod that was released only hours ago. Got the number plate there to recognise. Northwest Mods and Edits have released this gooseneck trailer, and I just thought it was the most appropriate thing to put onto the back of the Super Duty there. It is a fantastic looking trailer, highly detailed. I'm just going to bring up the store and just show you some of the options on it. So there we are. This is the Prowler gooseneck trailer. Now it's got the options of a nurse trailer, none, sprayer support, water support, back to none. So that's very nice. So you can use it if you just wanted to haul some water around, or what way we have it configured is to use it for sprayer support. So it does take the liquid fertilizer we need. Toolboxes, none. We put the one there, it goes onto the bottom on the front. Can put side boxes on or have them both at the same time. I think we've gone for pretty much the full spec option. Design options. Add some side steps here at the front, or a storage crate, just visual of course, or steps and a crate, so you've got that sort of full featured kit along the side. Around the back you've got some options here for rams. Standard, option 2, which puts the deck piece in the middle there, so you could use it as a bed as well. Option 3, which is the sort of full width tail, no folding ramps, so you've just got the sloped tail on the back. Or this option here, no rear ramp, which is what we've gone for. Now the reason we went for that is it actually adds a dynamic hitch on the back. So I'll show you in a second. We're going to back into the seed tender and get that hooked up and use this to run around in one train. We don't have to drag the liquid trailer and the seed tender around separately. Last option here is it adds a flat deck up on the top. So of course if you wanted to carry some boxes of seed or pallets of seed around, you could do that as well. So you'd almost have everything covered in the one vehicle, which is very nice. Some color options just on the metal there: black, rugged brown, or a cream color. Silver. White metal there at the start. The metal color, this is just on the toolbox and some of the other metal. And then tank, you've got plenty of options there on options for the tank. You wanted to go for an orange, and then rim, stainless steel, chrome, gunmetal, or white metal. And then down the bottom, we've obviously got the number plate option. Now, I don't know if you've noticed as well, the updated number plates which have been added in to Deer Creek with the latest update, which we are running. So lots of options there. Fantastic trailer, Northwest Mods and Edits, the same place that the Super Duty is from. Looking forward to getting this out into the field. Right, we're not going to get anything done though if we just stand here in the yard talking. So first things first, I'm going to go and get the 9RX hooked up to the new speed tool over there, and we're going to run that down to field 4. Get course play set up and running on that, and then we're going to get the planter out, get that all filled up with some seed and fertilizer, and we're going to head over to field number 9 and get some planting started. Alright, we're just all hooked up there. I didn't realise we needed a little bit more diesel here in the tractor. Didn't want to run it out again twice, so we'll just get that topped up. I'll see how far it goes. We might actually have to come over here. Oh, there's 2,000 litres in the tank. That should be enough to fill the tractor up. It does have a rather large tank capacity though, as we have found out before. It's also, we just swapped to the tractor, it also needs a little bit of maintenance, so we will do whatever needs to be done to it. Probably needs an oil change or maybe some cabin filters or air filters blown out, so we will take care of that before we head down to the field as well. So we'll get that sorted and meet you down in field number 4. Alright, tractor has been serviced now in typical John Deere fashion. It was a $22,000 service. I was told though, if you service a tractor sooner, or any piece of equipment earlier than later, it costs less to repair, so I guess it's a bit of an exponential increase. The longer you leave it to repair, the more it costs relative to if you repair it early. So that's good to know, and I'll keep that in mind, make sure my equipment doesn't get quite so run down in the future. Now, I thought I'd take this opportunity. One thing I want to try out, and I saw a great video by Scroft the other day on how to integrate auto drive and course play together. So I thought I might give that a go. We've obviously got an auto drive course to get down to field number 4. The truck used that quite successfully, and we can set up course play. So the idea is we can actually create the course here in the field, tell the tractor to head down to field number 4, and when it gets there, start doing that course. So I'm going to try and set that up and see how it all works. So we've gone and created our course the way we normally would. We've got our 3 headland passes, and we also have then done up and down rows with a skipped row. Now we've told it to start on the up and down rows, which is why it is starting right up here in the top corner rather than down here, because it wanted to finish at this point. So that is where it's decided to start, which isn't a problem. Now, if I'm not mistaken, now we have the course all set up, we can hop into auto drive, and we need to give it the destination, which is field 4 truck weight. Now if we turn on that course play indicator, the idea is that when it gets to the field, it should start the course we have loaded. So I don't think there's much more to it than that. So I'm going to press go here. We're going to ride along with the tractor and see what happens when it gets to the field. Alright, so we've just pulled into the field here. We've obviously made it to our destination on auto drive, which is the truck waypoint. So there we are. Now we've had the warning, well, had the notification there, it reached that point. We now see horseplay is taking over. So I'm ever hopeful the tractor is now going to run all the way over to the other side of the field, find that starting course, which is, as we saw, in the far corner. Hopefully, I'm just crossing my fingers we're not going to clip a tree there. No, they've done well. So, that all seems to have worked out perfectly. Just going to let it run all the way over to the far corner and make sure everything starts as we have expected it to. Alright, we've made it over to the corner, which I think should be our start point for the course. So we'll just wait and see if we get turned around. I don't see why it's not going to work though. This should work exactly as it says. There we go. Tool is down and tractor is starting to make its move. That has worked beautifully. I don't know why I never understood how to do that in FS19, but to already have that feature, it does mean you could set up a really detailed auto drive network and do most of your work without having to leave the comfort of the yard. So it's fantastic. You can send your workers off, wait till they're finished, and they come back. Now, while I was doing that though, I was having a thought. I think we're going to finish planting in field 4 before, field 9, sorry, before this guy's finished in field 4. So I'm going to make a little change to the course now that we've got all that going and working properly. I'm actually going to start do the headlands first and then start working across the field rather than doing skip rows. Otherwise we'll come over here and won't have anything to plant. So we'll sort that out, and then we'll go over and get into the 8RX and make a start on planting some corn. Alright, so we're off and going here with our headland passes. Something a little bit funny is happening here with the overlap on the edge. I don't know whether it's the field definition edge that course plays used, or whether it was something I set up in the settings, or whether perhaps this tool's got a little bit of an offset in it. But I think it should be okay. Only issue is going to be when we get around nearer these trees up by the house there. It could cause a little bit of a problem. But we're going to leave them here to keep running on the field. We'll no doubt get a warning pop up if there is any issues, and we'll come and address it then. But let's go and get the planter all pulled out, get some seed and fertiliser into it, and head on over to field number 9. So we've got the gooseneck trailer backed in here against the seed tender. Now you can see we've got a trigger there to attach the seed tender to the back of the trailer. When we press attach, we get a hitch appear there, which is quite a nice little touch. I do like that. Works very well. So it means, like I said before, we can haul this around all as one big convoy instead of having to, what I was planning on doing was having to use the little 6300 to drag probably the liquid trailer around and put the seed tender here on the back of the pickup. But we're able to kill two birds with one stone, so to speak here, which is very nice. Right, we'll just get up here, hopefully find a trigger for the fertiliser, and we'll get the seed put in with the seed tender. Get that arm out. It should be easier to drive the tractor in underneath it than manoeuvre the tender next to the planter. Alright, there we are. We haven't quite got it centred over the openings in the tanks, but it is filling, which is good to see. It does have a little bit of a slide going on with it too. Quite sure what's going on there. There we go, we've used up one of the, or half of the seed. I think if we change to the other one, there we go, we're getting the rest in it now as well. Now I'm not sure whether we have a fill trigger for the liquid or not. Just have to try and get a little bit closer and see if we can get that to overload. Maybe on the other side actually, I'm just looking where the hose is. Maybe only on the single side. Let's turn around and see if we can get a trigger that way. I'll tell you what, it's even better than I expected. If we press B and turn the trailer on, it starts the pump. Listen to that sound, that is fantastic. Oh, northwest, you guys have outdone yourselves. And it gives us an overload trigger, so we can start pumping some liquid fertiliser out of our tank into the tractor. There we go, all done. So, all done, turn that off again. That's awesome, I love that. Alright, well, that's everything filled up in the planter, so we'll leave that here for now. I'm not sure if we're going to need it over at the other field or not, but let's go and get on over there, make a start, and we can obviously call over and get someone to bring the pickup over if we need it. So we made it over here to field number 9. We'll just get pulled in and get everything unfolded. Going to back up against the fence as well, and we'll make a start going around on our headlands. We'll just have a look here, won't go too far back. See the back dropping down here on this planter. Then I think we'll see the arms swing out on both sides and the drawbar will pull forward all at the same time. There we go. Now just double check, we do have corn selected there in the planter too, so we'll be putting the right crop into the ground. Always a key requirement when you're planting. Looks like I've done a pretty good job about positioning in the right spot too for the width. There we are, back a little bit now that it's unfolded. We should be able to power that up, lower it down, and start heading along the edge of the field. Now I'm going to put the ridge marker out on the right hand side there. That will help us when we do our second headland pass, just to make sure we get everything in the right place. Obviously not going to use that on all the up and down rows though, because we do have auto drive guidance steering for that, GPS. But first time I've planted corn, I think, in FS22, and I do like having the row crop texture there. Not quite as pronounced as the one we used in 19, but still nice to see they have differentiated a little bit, and lines up pretty well on the planter too, which is good. Alright, so we're just going to we'll make our way around the headland, and once we get to the far edge of the field, we'll look at setting our GPS course up over there, and then we'll crack into it. We've made it over here to the other side of the field, the long edge. We've set up our GPS. Now the field does taper down a little bit. I have overlapped a touch at the top here, but I think when we get to the other end we might end up with a section which we don't quite get planted. A little bit frustrating just on the way that the field edge has been done, but I think we're better off running a straight edge down here with the GPS and either leave a little bit of the field unharvested, or we'll come back and pick that up at the end. So there you go, you can start to see we're just dropping off that little bit there now, but otherwise all seems to be going pretty well. So I'm going to crack on here, throw this on to a time lapse. I think this will be a good size field to time lapse the planting on, and we'll see you once we're all done here. Fingers crossed, looking at the seed and fertilizer usage, we should make it through this field without having to top up, which is good. Alright, we'll just have to come down and fill up with fertilizer. I'm just seeing what's happened. We've dropped an IBC out there somehow. Not quite sure what's happened there. We'll pick that up though. We should be able to put that into the trailer. I must have been on unload rather than overload. But we are empty now, so what I'm going to do is, if you were watching the live stream, we did set up some auto drive courses for filling up. Main yard, co-op liquid buy point, we want to put some liquid fertilizer into this. So I'm going to press go and leave them to run off and take care of that for us. So hopefully no issues with the traffic. We've been pretty lucky so far with auto drive today, so fingers crossed we don't run into any issues. But we'll leave them going down here on their own and we'll carry on with the planting. Final pass and a little bit here in this field and we will be all done. Now we haven't used much seed at all. I don't remember how much we started off with. It was about 5,000 litres or so. Anyhow, we've still got 84%. It's a huge amount, and we will certainly be able to plant the other field. And if I remember correctly, this field's about 47 acres, and I think the other one's a little bit around over 80, around 80, somewhere around there. So not quite double the size of this one, but still a much larger field. Now, of course, we did have to top up the fertilizer there halfway through as well, so we'll have to do that a couple of times in the next field. Now this 8RX does have an option to add the tanks that sit on the rear axle. I think they're the exact rate tanks that Sid Modding did, but we've gone without them for now. May look at getting them in the future, but for now they were quite expensive, about $50,000, so we decided not to invest in those and just make do with what we've got. But let's get this folded up and we'll head down to the yard and we'll go and see the pickup, and the gooseneck trailer should have made it back there. I did see some money go out, which was liquid fertilizer being purchased, so it looks like the system worked, and we'll be able to go back and get filled up before heading over to field 4. And it does appear that the pickup made it back here. We've left the trailer in the way though, so it wouldn't have been able to get quite to the waypoint, which is why I never got any notification. That's alright, we'll just hop out here, we'll get the engine started up, or at least get the pump turned on and get some fertilizer put in there. There's our worker sitting in there diligently waiting. Alright, there we go, we've got that all topped up. It didn't take much because we did put that tote that we had in there as well, but I'm not actually going to bother putting any more seed in because I don't think we're going to need it. However, we are going to need this over at field 4 because we are going to need more fertilizer, so let's just send it on a course to head on over there, and we'll follow on over with the planter. Alright, you can see the 9RX there in the distance are making good progress across this field. I am pleased we did it the way we did because they obviously haven't finished, and we would have been left with a whole lot of strips and nothing we could plant if we had not gone and changed the course when we did. Now we'll just let that there to unfold, get the pickup moved out of the way, because obviously parked here in the middle of the field isn't the best place, but it was the easiest way to make a course over here. I think there's some good space over there. We'll go and pull up on the side of the field, and then we'll be able to make a start on getting this field planted. Alright, we are all good to go, so we'll get that turned on and lowered down again. We've got the pickup moved out of the way, right there on the side of the field, and we're going to get started here on some seeding, which is most exciting. Now, I didn't actually check the other field. We're just going to pause here for a quick second, just turn that off. I never actually looked at the map. I'm just going to make sure that everything is going on as it should. And there we go, we can see we're getting our corn planted. We come across here, you can see how far our tractor's got it. Actually, there's the 9RX down there starting on its next set of passes. And if we come in here, probably see we turn off needs rolling, and we're getting our darker blue there, so we are getting our second application of fertilizer on. Now we are going to have to get the contractor in again. We'll look over here, this field looks good, does need rolling though, so we are going to have to get the contractor in with the Challenger and that big roller, come and get them in again to roll both these fields. But with that all looking pretty good, let's carry on and get things going on this field. Now I'm not going to bother time-lapsing in here. We've probably seen enough of this planter in the last few minutes. We are just going to carry on in here and get a lot of this done. I may put together a little bit of a montage and see how we go. But our last task really to get done today, or at least in this episode, is to get this all planted. So we'll carry on and catch up with you a little bit later on once we've made a bit more progress. Now, just as I'm driving along here, I've actually come to the realisation I'm probably better off not going the whole way around the headland and actually just make out the wheel tracks of where the tractor is dropping the cultivator. If we carried on around there, we're going to end up getting half our crop ripped up and have to go and replant it. So we've got our GPS course set up from the first long edge on the right hand side there. So if we drop that down here, we're just going to run a course down here, split the field at this point, and hopefully we're going to have enough space. Look like we're running at a slightly different angle to the cultivator, but hopefully we can then work in here on this small section of the field while they carry on doing their cultivating on that side. And we have managed to just be in the right position that we're not going to get taken out when the cultivator gets back down this end. Probably not a bad little spot actually to finish on this corner. So I think we might just lift that up there. We'll get turned around and head back around the field and fill in this piece here behind us. Get that bit done while the cultivator carries on over here. Well, things are progressing pretty well here in the field. You can see the 9RX there is running down its final pass, getting the last of those weeds out and leaving us with this nice seed bed to plant into. Certainly has been much nicer doing it this way than it would have been if I was running through those weeds the whole time. It would not have looked very nice at all. So if we just take a look at the map there, you can see we are just working in this section here, and there we go, last pass being done. And then that is all we're going to be left with. I was surprised actually how easily we've managed to actually catch up to the 9RX. I thought they would have had a great head start and been finished a lot for us, but as things have turned out and things have conspired, we're not that far behind them by the time they are finished. I guess we are covering quite a bit more width than they are, and we are going a little bit faster. I did notice that when we were running along beside them at a couple of points. So a little bit of an advantage there to us. But we're just going to carry on here. We've just put together that little bit of a montage for you, so I do hope you've enjoyed that, and we'll catch up again once we finish this field. We're just running down our very last pass here in the field, getting the last of our corn planted. Now, surprisingly enough, we have not used much of the seed we had in the planter. Now, we haven't even filled it up from when we planted the first field, so we haven't even used half the seed, which I guess is a good thing. Probably doesn't seem quite realistic. I would have expected to have chewed through a little bit more than we have, but that's how it is. We have had to fill up the fertilizer a few times though, but you still haven't used all the fertilizer up out of the tank. At least not in this field, although I do recall that we did send the tank back over to get topped up at the end of the first field, so we have gone through it a couple of times. Now, we've had a couple of phone calls while we've been running around in here from a couple of neighbours, and we've picked up a couple of contracts to do for the next episode. So, Field 5, we have a fertilising contract on there, pays out pretty well. Of course, we'll have to buy the fertiliser, which is a little bit pricey. In Field 3, we've got a sowing contract there to plant some soybeans. So, Should make some decent money off both of those, which can go a long way to repaying our debt. But there we go, we are now at the end and our corn is all done. That's planting finished for a wee bit longer. We're going to be getting into some harvesting before we do any more planting. Of course, the plan is to double plant into the wheat and get some soybeans planted in there to also be harvested in autumn and get that done. So that'll be interesting to see how it all works out. But let's get this folded up back over to the farm and we'll wrap things up there. And there we are back here. Got a little bit of cleaning up to do. The tractor and planter need a good clean off, as does the 9RX there and the speed tool. So we will get sorted with those. Love this gooseneck. If you're looking for it, Northwest Mods and Edits. You can see there on the number plate. I'll leave a link to their Facebook page down below. Please do respect where they have shared that mod, and obviously if you are not a Facebook user, I do apologise, but we won't be sharing that link anywhere else. It is just on Facebook, but well worth it, honestly, even if you get yourself a burner account for Facebook to be able to get some access to some of those mods. I'd highly recommend it because there is a lot of things shared there. But anyhow, that is all from us for Deer Creek for today. All our crops are planted, and we'll be back next time with a little bit of contract work and probably running the roller over those fields that we've planted today. So thank you all very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed that episode, and catch you in the next one.